This is the second video for Hiker Biker Pro. And what we're going to do is we're going to start out on the trail location map. And what I've done is I pulled out from the side the settings area in Google Maps. And I'm going to go ahead and click on bicycling. And I'll show you what it does. It fills in all the bicycle paths and roads where you can bicycle around the area. This is quite a mecca where I live in Sedona, where they have a lot of bicycle trails. And you can see them in here. You can zoom in by double clicking. You get to see a little bit better area where they're at. There's a lot of them that run right up north and out to the woods and in beautiful places in Sedona. So this is how this works. And in order to put the app map back in, you can go this is the location you're in. You can click this. And this is just standard Google Maps when you're in here. One of the things you need to know is it's a Wi-Fi internet provider is required in order to use the maps. It's also required for the website over here. So let's go to the next location. We're going to go to Trail Maps. Let's say, for example, I took a snapshot of that screen using the round button, power button, and I wanted to put it in here. Or if I had maps that I had taken another way with the actual camera of a map, I could do that. There's a number of ways you can do that. And what you would do is paste them back in here. And what you do on the iPad is you click, and basically you say replace what's in there or add a new one from the picture photos in your iPad. So you would put that in there. And if you wanted to see it to fill the whole screen, you could say view it, and it would expand to fill the entire screen. Up on this area here, you put the trail name in, the trail head name, the map name, whatever we want to call the map, that's your choice. This is automatically calculated. It's the size of the image that's in here in kilobytes. And the purpose of that is though when you're actually in here and you want to either copy and send it to somebody or you want to paste something in here, it gives you the size of this. And you want to keep it fairly small because you don't want to run up the size stuff on your iPad to fill a lot of stuff. If you want to get out of here, what you can do is click Done, and it goes back to the regular area. This area button over here will take you to the Trail Portal individual view of each one of these where they're a larger view. So if you wanted to see it in a larger screen area, we can go ahead and do that. We're going to go through those a little bit later when we go up to the menus and then pop through those. So let's go look at the next tab. This is your Trail Photos tab. Now what's interesting about this is these also are click in and tab and add. So they're very simple to add to your area here. But one of the things I want to point out is that you can put a narrative and the name of the location where you're at, the photo description, the photo date you took it, and the size. And what you can do here, which is really nice, you can add as many as you want. You can put as many images in there as you feel like you want to add. And you can also double click or expand the screen using your fingers to go ahead and get a closer look at these images. Or you can go to the portal itself. Let's go ahead and click back. You can click on the portal and go to the portal and get a larger view of the same image. And scrolling up and down will get you to whatever the next photographs are in here. And like I said, you can have an infinite number of those. So let's go up here. And once again, we have the image size again. Let's go up to businesses nearby. And what this basically does is you can set up your this particular screen here to also do video catches as far as the image of what you're looking at. And you can zoom in. For example, if I wanted to go into Sedona, I could zoom into it. And maybe I want to say I'm on a hotel there. And what I can do is go ahead and do a search for hotels. And if I zoom in more, you're going to see more and more stuff that would be in there. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit more so you can see them. They will start to show you the hotels. For example, it's a Hyatt. Right at the three corners right here, there's a Hyatt. In fact, this is the Hyatt right there. If I zoom up, you'll see it. There's the Hyatt. And there's another set of hotels. In fact, they're all the way up and down this road. Depending on what your choices are, you have a lot of options in Sedona. The next place that I'm going to look here is going to be the Hiker Biker website. Now, the way this works is kind of interesting. You can drop this down and pick anything that's listed in this area here in map stuff that's already been added, or trails or websites with for finding trails and so forth. There's a lot of my preset in here, and they're all over the world, so you can have them from all over the world. And this creates a library of websites that are related to exactly what you're interested in. And when you pop them down, you're going to see the name of it, and this is the URL for that particular site. Now, what happens if you want to add something? Well, this is very simple. You click on the portal button, which we're going to go in a little bit later, and it's going to allow you to add the URL, the name, and that would then be added into this list. And you do that by adding a new record in that portal. Let's go to the next tab. The next tab is the expenses, and this is easy to cover because basically you're putting any expenses that are related to your travel from the start to the finish, so you can see how much you spent. And as I had stated before, there are money symbols in here for any country that you can put in there. So you can pop this up and just wait a second, and then you can add or edit whatever money symbol you want to be in your application from whatever country you're in. Then there's the expense list view, and we're going to go through those as well, going down through the menus, and we're going to do that next. So let's go do that. First of all, we already visited most of the tabs, but we're going to go to the list view for the trails. The list view for the trails, if I click up here, you can see that it'll go between each one of these, and if you click into it, you can edit in here. I'm going to click done. This can fill the entire screen and it'll scroll. And then if you do a do action, this is where it gets interesting. You can do a find, and you can see that it'll flip it over, and now you can go ahead and go in there, and I'm going to say trail name. Let's just say red. Now I did this before, didn't I? But this time I'm going to trick you. I'm going to go rock. Okay, so let's say go ahead and find. And it says, oh, I didn't get it right again. So you still have the option here to say modify, and then this time I'm just going to say rock. So I'm going to back this out. And I'm going to say rock. Now, there's only one record in the entire app, so that should make it pretty easy. And as you'll notice, what I'm trying to point out here is you can also, whatever you type in, you can get the information pop up in here. You can go to the next and previous field, and you can say done when you're done here, and then go ahead and say do action, perform the find. So do the find, and there's the one record we were looking for. In fact, two of them came up with the word rock in it from here. You can put any word or phrase that is in this particular field or any field. So you can, for example, if I wanted to do park, if it had the word park in it and I could put AZ, I'd get all the parks. If I wanted to put Sedona, I could put Sedona and all the Sedona trails would come in. Or when I put in there Village of Oak Creek, only the Village of Oak Creek would go in there. So that's how you kind of do it. Then if you go out to the edge out here, you can click on this space. It'll take you back into that particular record in the trail location. Now let's go to the next one, which is the photo portals. And as I stated before, there's a larger portal with a larger photograph you can look at in here. And you can, once again, you can change the photos in here by say replace, or you can click this and view the entire thing at what is basically the full size. And then you can go ahead and click out and you just say done. Now you can pop up here and you can email it to somebody if you want to. So that's one of the things you can do. Let's just go ahead and pop on it, just show you that. You can pick any of the things that you've added into your regular iPad register up here of items that you want to do and what you want to do with it. You can print it, copy it, assign it to a contact, save it, do whatever you want to do up in that area. Now if I added Gmail in there or whatever in this listing, I would have Gmail available to me. Okay, we're done. Let's go ahead and say done again. And now that we're in here, you can see that we have a location information, a photo description, and notes about this location. For example, if we're looking at the trailheads here, we can see there's signage that takes us up on Bell Rock, and it tells us the different trails that we can take. And there's many, many, many trails in Sedona. Let's go to the next portal down, which is the list view for photos. This is kind of nice because it has the photo that you can see a small image of. If you wanted to pick it, you could pick it. And this is the repeat information from the portal, which is pretty straightforward, isn't it? So let's go to the next one, which is now the photo list view we're in. Let's go to the trail map portal. Now the trail map portal is the one that has the individual maps that you copy and paste in. If you click in here, it's going to allow you to edit and put those pictures in here, and they'll be a little larger size, and then they will show in the trail map tab on the main location screen. So you can work in here or work in there. If you want to delete the individual map, you have to be careful what screen you're in. In this case, we're in the trail map portal. If you want to delete this one, for some reason you don't want it anymore, just click delete and it's gone. Okay, let's go to the next location. We're going to go down to the, we were in the portal. We can do the trail map list view. And there you go is the trail map list view. Same kind of situation where you can look in here, but on this side we're clicking to go into the record on that side. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is the bike web portal. And this is the web portal that I was talking about where you add in the URL, and you can just copy and paste this from any website. You can actually even go on in the actual navigation area where you're at and pop over to another website or window and say you want to put that in there, you can just copy in that and then just make your own entry in here for what that name of that particular website is. And you can also delete the individual URLs if you no longer want to use them. But if you want to add one, you have to click the new. It'll blank these fields out, and then you would go ahead and add your URL and the name of the location where this URL is at, or the name of that location, period. And as you do it, it's going to add a new numerical ID up here for each one that you add. Okay, let's go to the expense portal. Now the expense portal is the row information that was in the expense portal itself. And one of the reasons it's in a portal like this is so that you can go over and do a find, then find an individual record if you're looking for it by any of the fields that you want to add in here. It could be so silly as if you wanted to find every place where $8 was the expense. You can use any field that's available here, and you can go ahead and, for example, maybe I put in all state parks where I wanted to see what it cost. I could bring them up, and then when I get them, I can go next, 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 and look through them. There's the 6, and I'm in another place. I could just go right through them, or I could look at the list view for them. This takes you back to the trail location map. And let's do the very last thing here, which is the expense list view. And this would be the list view of all the expenses individually, and then it's summarized at the bottom of the screen. So let's pop this out of the way, and you'll see right there, if you add all this stuff in here and you add a lot of expenses, you're going to be able to see them all. Now here's where find gets interesting again. They have an expense date. So if you wanted to find an expense date or a range of dates, you go in here. But what I suggest you do is go to the location for the type, for example, expense types or whatever it is, or from it says from company, but actually what that basically is whatever expense that you paid it for and what it was from. And this is the paid to. Now, if you wanted to do the paid tos for all the individual places that you did based on state parks or whatever, that'd be another way to do it. But I'm going to show you a little simple thing you can do. So if you come in here, you can pick and do the find here, and then go ahead and pop out to the list view, and those will be shown when you go out. Now, there's another thing you can do too. If you get stuff in the records that you don't want, you can go over here, you can say omit, and the one that's highlighted would be omitted. And now you're showing the one here. But you can carry that a little further. Maybe you wanted to omit a bunch of them and then just show those. So I can go back over to only show omitted. And the one I omitted is back up here. And then any additional ones that were omitted, I'd be able to see those, and there'd be a list of them, and maybe I wanted to see the total only for the ones that I omitted. That's kind of a tricky thing to do, but it's easy once you think about it. Now, there's another thing we were going to do, and I'm going to show you this, which is you can either go to the support, which is a website, and that's the developer's website. You can print. When you get a print, basically what you're doing in here, you're either printing records, and you can say from what, the current records, the found set. Now the current record's the only one you're viewing, and the found set is all the ones that you've either done a find for or all the records. So you have to be careful when you're doing that to know what you're going to print, or you may print a lot and waste a lot of paper if you're not thinking about it. Range, what range are we looking at here? By how many pages, from and to, what from one page to the next. You have that choice. Let's go back over again. You can do paper size, whatever location you're in based on the paper sizes that's available. Portrait, landscape. You can scale it if your printer scales. You can change the dots per inch so they can get more clarity with a higher dot per inch. And here's the one I like. Say I want to take a PDF and just to be able to view it. I can see the screen in a PDF, and maybe I want to use that PDF and email it to somebody. So I can email it from here, but this is nice. If you're still looking at the same screen here, you can say email the whole thing, and it'll email a PDF for the entire screen. Or maybe you just want to save it to your photo library, and you can say save it, and it'll save it to the photo library. So you have a lot of options, a lot of benefits from what's in here. And let's go back. One more is export. Now, depending on what screen you're in, you can export. And you look up here, you can see where it says this is the screen that you're in as far as the HikerBiker Pro, and then you can pick how you want it to export, either comma separated, DBase, Excel, Merge, HTML, or Tab. Tab is the most common one people do if they want to use it in a word processor, and obviously Excel is a spreadsheet. So let's go back. You can say what you did to type. Let's say fields you want to select. You go in here, and if you uncheck them, they will not be exported. If you check them, they will be, or you can just say select all or deselect all. So it's a fast way to get into what you want to do. And then you can go over here and say done. And you can say, for example, maybe I want to email that information, or maybe I just want to save it. I could save it. Or you can use the layout formatted. In this case, it's the fields that are in the format of this here. If I were in a regular screen where they had, which is like a child screen, then you would see all the fields that would be on the screen, and you can pick what you want to actually have exported. Okay, and be aware that depending on what screen you're in, you're going to see a different name for that table. Okay, now that pretty well covers how this application is working and how you can use it. If you have any questions or you're a little lost, you can go back through the video again, or you can get in touch with us on the developer website, create a chat, start it, and ask questions, and then we'll go ahead and answer any of your questions. Thank you.